The Goat House is back with my favorite picks and locks for NFL Week 13. Usually have this video every Thursday, but this week, Wednesday night, got to get it up before those Thanksgiving games. We've got 3 of them, starting with the early one with the Bears and Lions. Got a full slate of picks for you guys, favorite bets and more. Even have a college football pick like usual. Well, let's get into those picks. My favorite pick against the spread for Week 13 is going to be the Rams, -2.5 against the Saints. I know the Saints are kind of on fire, 2-game winning streak. They are coming off the bye, but Darren Rizzi's got those guys going, so maybe a little scary, but the Rams are a really good football team. Didn't look like it against the Eagles. The Eagles are an elite football team. The Rams are solid. They'll run the ball effectively in this game. They'll get Kyron going. The Saints have been struggling a little bit to stop the run recently, but I think Stafford has a solid game as well, and Puka's been on fire, and the last time he played the Saints, he went absolutely crazy, so they'll definitely be effective on offense, and the pass rush will get going as well, get after Carr. What the Saints have going for them in this game, what could make them pull off an upset is the running game, led by Kamara. Rams got torched on the run last week. But I think the Rams get a lead where they kind of take away that run game just by the clock against the Saints here. So I do like LA winning by at least a field goal. And I did make a pick against the spread for every single game this week in my Week 13 score predictions video. You can check it out. The straight-up locks this week are a little tricky, actually, because I do like the Lions and the Chiefs. They're heavy favorites for a reason. They match up well. The Lions against the Bears, especially because the Bears can't stop the run, and the Chiefs against the Raiders. The Raiders are just an absolute mess. It's in Kansas City. They're getting some offense going. So those teams should take care of business, but they are both playing rival games, which typically I try to stay away from those for the locks unless they're absolute 100% guarantees, but these are my favorite ones of the week. There's a lot of good games this week that could go either way. Of course, I'm confident about other games. It's just hard to call them, locked, but we've been doing pretty good with these. If Brock Purdy does not play, he was limited today. If he does not play against the Bills on Sunday night, I'm adding the Bills to this list. I don't see any way a 49ers team without Brock Purdy could beat the Bills in Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. Might be a little chilly out there as well, but myself, couple other guys made a bunch of picks for every game in our Week 13 pick show. It's every Tuesday. You can check that out. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on. Loads of NFL content here, always adding more. Check out that channel. Be much appreciated. But my over-under locks, I like the under in the Seahawks-Jets game. The Seahawks defense is heating up. It looks legit, which it shouldn't really be a surprise. Mike McDonald, big-time defensive coach, and they have young studs on that defense, everywhere on that defense. So they are balling out right now. The Jets offense has obviously been underwhelming, and it's even more messy now, the whole Rodgers situation. A little beat up on the offensive line. So I don't see them scoring enough points to have this go over 41.5. And the Seahawks offense is struggling a little bit. I think they'll do some damage on the ground, which will roll the clock. I think that'll be the Jets' approach too. Run the football, drain the clock. I don't see how this gets over 41.5. And the best chance would be the Seahawks scoring it up. But I just don't see that happening really, even though I do have Seattle winning the game. But it should be close in a defensive game. And I like kind of a different one here. I like the first half under. First half under for the Eagles-Ravens. 25.5 seems to be a bit too high. Both these teams are very capable of scoring, but both of them seem to get going in the second half. You look at the last several Ravens game, they really get going in the second half. Against the Bengals, it was the fourth quarter. The Eagles, they are the worst team in football, scoring-wise, in the first quarter, believe it or not, as good as the Eagles are, first quarter, they are brutal, but they really get going in the second half, mainly the fourth quarter. So first half, a lot of running clock. It should stay under there. So I actually really, really like that one. So those are my favorite over-unders. I do like the Broncos-Browns under on Monday night in Denver. I'm not going to call it a lock like these ones, but I do really like that one as well. Couple parlay options for you guys here, and I always have my last second bets, parlays, and more on our Twitter /X GoatHouse NFL link pinned in the comment. Check it out. But here's a Thanksgiving one, a 3-game parlay. I feel better about the Sunday one for sure, but I do like the Thanksgiving one. There's 3 games, so let's take a line from each game. The Lions, if you drop that down to 5.5, feel a lot safer if it's 2.5, 3.5, but we have to take some risks here. 5.5. They are going to be missing some guys, but they should win by at the very least 6. They're home. They're the best team in football. The Bears can't stop the run. That is the key for me in that one. Last year the Bears played the Lions well, but they could stop the run at a high level. This year they're struggling to stop the run. The Lions should handle business there. Giants plus 8.5. Sounds like it's going to be Drew Lock, so I think that makes the Giants better. Giants versus Cowboys, both backup quarterbacks, both struggling teams. Both can't stop the run. Both should run the ball well. It should stay close. This game could go either way. I'm leaning Cowboys winning the game because they've won the last 7. The trends seem to be going well this year. But I like the Giants plus 8.5 on an adjusted line there. That game should stay close. If you want to go Cowboy, if you're really feeling the Cowboys, you want to go Cowboys money line instead, be my guest. Packers money, that's the risky one. That's the tough one here because Dolphins are hot. They're a good team. It's in Green Bay. That's why you favor the Packers. The Packers are missing some key players, though, so this is going to be a 50-50 game, close to a 50-50 game. I do like the Packers winning. So in this Thanksgiving parlay where there's 3 games, you're going to have to take some risks, but you have some options there. Could you go Lions minus 5.5, Giants plus 8.5, and then Cowboys money line's a possibility as well if you want to stay away from that Packers game. So just kind of an idea, but I do really like this Sunday one. The Rams money line, we talked about. I like the Rams covering the 2.5, but since we're making a parlay out of it, let's go money line. They've got to handle business and squeak by the Saints. They can do that. Seahawks plus 3.5. So kind of reverse that, send it the other way. They're getting 3.5 points. This game is going to stay tight. If they lose, it's going to be very, very little. And the Chargers, kind of the same situation. They're playing the Falcons. Falcons are off the bye, so they can be a little sneaky, but I did pick the Chargers. They match up well because they play good defense, and anybody can score on the Falcons defense. Chargers definitely, Justin Herbert definitely should be able to score. So pairing those 3 together looks like a pretty good 3-game parlay at plus 263. It is early in the week for this video because of the Thanksgiving game, so this is an early look at some picks here, some parlays here. So I'll be cooking more stuff up on our Twitter leading up to the games, Thursday, the game on Friday, and the games on Sunday and Monday as well. So make sure to join us there. My favorite anytime touchdown picks for this week, and we usually have more last-second picks on our Twitter as well. But anytime touchdown, David Montgomery is a touchdown machine, and he's playing against his former team, the Bears, who can't stop the run. They're going to try to get him in the end zone at least once. Josh Jacobs has been on a heater. He's been really picking up, finding the end zone. I'm just thinking cold Thanksgiving night in Lambeau. You got to out-physical the Dolphins. Josh Jacobs will do that. Joe Mixon has been a touchdown machine. When the Texans get him going, the Texans win. They know that now after they lost last week and they couldn't get him going. So they're going to try to do that this week. The Jags also did not see Mixon last week. Jags also give up some touchdowns to running back. So I like Joe Mixon a lot. Puka Nacua has been racking up a ton of catches, ton of yards, not scoring a ton. He's due because we know he's going to rack up the catches and yards. He's due to find the end zone. And the last time he played the Saints was last year. He went absolutely crazy, so I like Puka. And then Kenneth Walker, the key to the going against the Jets defense is to run the football, so I do like Kenneth Walker. Best plus options, talking about Montgomery. He's going to find the end zone against the Bears. The Lions will make sure of it. He is a little banged up, but I heard that he could have came back in and played against the Colts. They just didn't need him to, so that's a good sign. I think he scores twice. I really do. I'm thinking about Montgomery first-time touchdown score as well in that game, or the first touchdown scorer of the game, I should say. But I think he scores twice. That's plus 340. I like that. Puka, we talked about him at plus 137 right now. It's not on all betting apps yet. Again, it's a little earlier in the week than I normally do this video because of Thanksgiving. But it should be positive odds. Cade Otton's a pretty good one. That's one that's really growing on me. He's been awesome with Baker Mayfield. He's been awesome this year. I know Mike Evans is back, but the Panthers are dead last against tight ends. So watch for Cade Otton score. I actually love that one at plus 185. Jaden Daniels, the Commanders are beat up at running back. The Titans stop running backs pretty well. It's on Jaden Daniels to scramble and score. I think he'll do that. Plus odds for a reason, though. And then a deep one here. Geno Smith, the Seahawks quarterback, who is a sneaky scrambler. We've seen him score a couple touchdowns with his legs this year. He could be very sneaky, especially at the end of games. And the Jets have really struggled when quarterbacks scramble. It's why I said to put money on Kyler Murray scoring. And he scored twice. It's why I said to put money on Anthony Richardson scoring. He scored twice. Now, those are much better runners than Geno Smith. So that's why I'm not going to say for sure put money like I said about the other guys, but it's very tempting. It's very tempting because what's been going on with even CJ Stroud ran all over the Jets, like multiple quarterbacks that are athletic, but not just the super mobile Kyler Murray's and Anthony Richardson. They scrambled pretty well. So that's why I'm watching Geno Smith. It's bold, but it's definitely appealing. It's definitely tempting there. But there's some that I really like. Dave Montgomery's going to score. Joe Mixon, I really feel like is going to score. Really feeling Puka Nacua this week, too. And the Cade Otton one, as you could tell, is really growing on me. And my college football lock of the week. We've been on fire with these. 8-1 this year. We're on to rivalry week. Weird things can happen with these rival games, so it could be a little sketchy. But, man, the Florida Gators are playing some good football. They are a tough team right now. They're playing well on both sides of the ball. Look like a team to watch maybe in the future, too, going forward. When everyone was down on them, in the beginning of the year, they really picked it up. Team that everyone got down on right away, Florida State, and we're still down on them. They are a mess. They are struggling. Florida, it's a rival game. They are going to Florida State, but the Gators should whomp them. The Gators should handle business here. I don't see Florida State scoring much, and I see Florida getting in the end zone. That's probably, plenty of times, but that's probably the only issue is can they get in the end zone enough to cover the 14.5? I don't see why not. I definitely don't see why not. They're playing much better ball. I mean, they're beating the LSUs. They're beating the Ole Misses. Florida State is brutal. Yes, they did get a win last week. They played Charleston Southern. They had one win, and that's an FCS program. That's an FCS schedule that they had. So I like the Gators. Team that's heating up, playing a team that's an absolute disaster. I feel like the players are giving up, especially when they get down, so that's tough. But I will have more picks, and we'll be working on a parlay as we approach the college football games this week for our Twitter subscribers. So we'll see what I have there. But yeah, pulling with those Florida Gators. There's not a ton that I love this week in just terms of the actual line against the spread because rivalry week, a lot of teams are a win or go home type mentality, and we could have some interesting things. But there's a couple other games that I like. Another SEC team that I like that is getting points, but some upsets that definitely could happen. So cannot wait for college football this week. I'm rolling with the Gators. But that will wrap it up for the NFL Week 13 locks, and we got a Week 14 college football lock here every Thursday going forward like we were the rest of the year. With this video, we have power rankings, score predictions, weekly pick show, a lot of fun. Always adding things like mock drafts. Still going to get to updated playoff predictions pretty soon. A lot of content here, and we'll predict the college football playoffs as well with some score predictions, so cannot wait for that. Like, subscribe to notifications on. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.